Chef Todd Kelly has one of the more unusual backstories that we've ever heard here on The Dish. He spent most of his childhood here in New York, but at age 11, his father moved the family to Mauritius. It's a tiny island off the coast of East Africa. There, in a place with no radio or TV, no pizza or hamburgers or French fries, he first learned to cook. After returning to the U.S. in his teens, he got a job peeling potatoes in a restaurant outside Philadelphia and later worked in Pittsburgh, Charlotte, and San Francisco.
These days, he's moved up in the world, a long way up. Todd is now executive chef of the award-winning restaurant Orchids at Palm Court at the Hilton, Cincinnati, Netherland Plaza. Long name. Chef Todd Kelly, I'm glad your travels brought us finally here to us. Welcome to The Dish.
Good. Thank you for having me.
And tell us what's on the table.
To start off, we have a little bit of our house-cured ham with some fouilloux persimmons and arugula and some shaved fennel. Next to that, we have some Brussels sprouts that we tossed in a pomegranate vinaigrette with a little bit of miso and some goat cheese. And then next to this is a dish reminiscent to my childhood. We have some ricotta cheese tortellinis with some cheese curd. And then a nice big New York strip steak topped with a little bit of a lardo crust. And then over here is a family tradition that my mom makes every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's one of our family recipes of a sugar pie.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Yeah, sugar pie. I'm looking at the drink. Is this wrong of me?
Please tell us what's in the glass. I gather this is a special bottle that you've brought with you.
It is. We do barrel selections with 4 roses, and we wanted to have a drink that showed off the quality of the whiskey, but then also was approachable. So this is our take on an old-fashioned. We essentially make old-fashioned ice and then pour the whiskey right over top.
You know how to get into our hearts.
Yeah.
Delicious. Oh, wow. That's really good. I am fascinated by your backstory. And I mentioned you're on Mauritius, you're on this island, and there's nothing that you're used to.
Sure.
How did you get the foods that you were liking? Is that how you got into cooking?
Well, that is how we got into cooking. All of the food, it was, a ton of fresh seafood, a lot of Indian influences, and then obviously the European influences. So we had fishermen would come to the back door with what they called in the morning. We had our bread delivered daily by a person on a moped. Just honked the horn and you went out and picked what you wanted. And so there was none of the luxuries that we were accustomed to. No pizza, there was no milk. And so we had to really adapt. And
did you have to create your own? If you wanted fries, you had to make your own fries.
Exactly, yeah.
You end up back in Philadelphia when you're, what, 14?
Yeah, right around there.
And at what point did you know you wanted to really get into cooking?
Well, I started right on my 17th birthday, and just like most 17-year-olds, I wanted to be with my friends, and so I got really good at peeling potatoes and cleaning lobsters and things along those lines. And then just as I progressed, it became something that I was really passionate about, and I really enjoyed some of the sciences. And
your first job was an official potato peeler, right?
Well, I don't know if that was officially the title, but that's officially what I did every day. So
you did it so well, so you were able to do it. But it's a big jump up from official potato peeler or unofficial potato peeler. You kind of crisscrossed the country. What took you out west in the first place?
I had an older brother that was opening a restaurant, and one of my other older brothers was a chef as well. And we
also into it because of where you lived?
I think that was the main reason, yeah. And we had an opportunity. He brought us out to San Francisco and ran a restaurant in North Beach. And then from there, I worked at some high-profile restaurants, and that really created who I was in the food industry.
What ultimately took you to Cincinnati?
The Netherland Plaza in Orchids. It's a beautiful hotel. The dining room was built in 1931, and it's one of these places where I always say it's a clean palette, a beautiful palette that just needed an artist to paint on it, and that's what we did. We created something really special there.
It's sort of a time now where I feel like we eat more casually.
Sure.
You're fine dining.
Yeah. Well, our food is, we have a lot of history in what we do. We source great ingredients. That's the main thing that we do. And then some of the formalities of fine dining, we want to keep that tradition alive, and but still make it fun and make it interesting.
And people embrace that versus looking for something that's just, you said source food. You're creating your own butter and cheeses. Yeah. I mean, where does that come from?
Well, there's a point in time where you continue to source things, and then you start to look at it and you say, why can't we do this? And so one of the inspectors that came in for AAA asked why we didn't have any local domestic cheeses. And at the time, there just weren't any very good ones. And so we took it upon ourselves to make it. We converted a walk-in cooler to 58 degrees, 85% humidity, and started making our own cheese. Same with the butter. It was one of these things that we could manipulate the flavor by adjusting the pH, and we just decided to start doing it ourselves.
Well, I'm going to have you sign the dish, and as you're signing it, I ask you if you could have a meal with anyone, past or present,
Sure.
who would it be?
Well, present would have to be my daughters. We love doing Sunday night pizzas.
Right.
It's a big thing for us to keep the family bond. Past would probably be my father. He didn't get a chance to see me as a chef. And then, of course, James Dalton. He was a pioneer of food and beverage in the late 80s and really shaped the way that the food industry is today.
Great table.
Yeah, they'd love the meal, no doubt. Chef Todd Kelly, thank you so much. And for more on Todd Kelly and the dish, you can head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.